It's good for sure. Well, it's great to meet you. I am looking forward to getting into your life as the gentle rebel coach and beyond. And to begin that process, I want to know one of the more far-reaching events that have happened in our lifetime was the pandemic. And 4 years ago, we didn't know when it was going to end and how it was going to ultimately affect our lives. So, how did
Yeah,
you get through that time period, and how did it change the way that you do business?
I was already starting to move online, and then that happened and everything had to go online. And I lost most of my sources of income, as did my partner, and we weren't entitled to any financial support, government support. So there's nothing like paring everything down to making you focus. My podcast came out faster than probably it would have done. So I now have 202 episodes, so that's cool.
Yeah,
And I just started building membership sites and taking coaching online, doing everything online, just adjusted like most people did. But it was a real narrowing of, and in many ways it was quite nice because it was like, right now, just do that, just do that, just do that. It was very focused. Yeah, very focusing.
yeah. Well, and I hear that a lot. There's all kinds of silver linings that went through that time period. I think it sharpened our vision and focus on what we want with our lives and just helped us get to where we want to go.
I think it does I think for online entrepreneurs, I think
Yeah,
if you manage to do it, if you were able to have that kind of courage and tenacity and downright, yeah, this isn't going to beat me kind of
yeah,
attitude, then yes. I mean, the thing is with me, if you ask me anything, I'm going to tell you the gift. So
yeah. There you go. So let me ask you this. If I put you in front of a bunch of grade school kids and one of the kids wanted to know what you did, what you do on a daily basis for your career, it's career
Mm.
day, and they're like, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" What's your answer?
I help people turn finding the freedom to be themselves into their greatest adventure.
So what did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream job?
I wanted to sing.
Okay. Did you pursue?
No, luckily not, fortunately. Fortunately, that nonsense left me. And I was far too shy. I mean, the whole thing doesn't make any sense, but yeah.
So let me ask you this. Take me back to where you were born and raised, your childhood. How were these seeds planted into you to become the coach, to become the one that helps people lead and find their adventure? How did that happen?
I had a deeply unhappy childhood. And looking back, I can see that it's that feeling squished and crushed and not feeling that I had space for me that definitely contributed to what I'm up to now. It turned me into a natural rebel, but it took me to my 50s to learn to rebel gently, which is far more effective and far more fun than that fierce, angry against energy.
Yeah. So what's the best advice you've ever gotten? You have to steer your clients in the right direction, but what's the best advice you've ever gotten?
Oh, there's so many. The thing that's popping to my mind now, which is hilarious, is when my eldest son was a toddler, and being a mum, I was desperate just for some adult conversation where you got to have an entire sentence without being interrupted by a small child, as much as I loved him. And I was really struggling with that because my son would waddle up to me and interrupt every time I got to speak to another mother at a mother baby group. And this woman who had like 4 kids, she said, I've trained all my kids that if they come and interrupt me when I'm having an adult conversation, then you just do this, you make the sign of a T, and that means that I'm drinking tea. Unless it's an emergency, you have to wait until I finish my sentence. And she said that saved her sanity, saved my sanity, that ability to prioritize myself and say, this is what I need in order to be not just able to cope, but to feel well and sane. That was a really good bit of advice that I give to all the new mums in my life.
Wow, that is good advice.
It is good
So,
advice.
yeah, it certainly is. So, you've probably needed to have inspiration in your life. Who has been that for you? Who's been a hero and or inspiration that's helped you get to where you're at today?
So many. My partner inspires me. He's just very quietly. He probably hasn't got a clue. Yeah.
So if you can meet one person alive on the planet right now that you find fascinating, who would that be? Who would you love to meet and talk to?
Who would I love to meet and talk to? Oh my goodness, who would I love to? Jordan Peterson.
Okay. What
Yeah, I
would
love
you
Jordan Peterson.
what would you want to know?
What would I want to know? Nothing in particular. I
Okay.
just want to like shoot the breeze with him. I mean, that guy is he's such a principled man and he just knows his stuff and he just, my degree is psychology so to sit and talk to somebody who's clinical psychology, wealth, far more wealth of information than me and just like to talk humans would just be a joy.
So what motivates you every day to do the work that you do? You have to give a lot to your clients. You have to give of yourself to help them get to where they want to go. But you also have to hold enough back to evolve as a human being yourself. What is that collective gas gumption every day that makes you who you are and to do the work that you do?
Joy. Do you know what it's like to coach somebody? It's it's the most joyful, wow. To hold space for somebody and ask them questions so that they can find the answers locked within them so that they can live more fully and find that freedom to be them. So there's nothing like that. That nourishes me.
What's been one of your not even favorite, because that's never, I mean, it's like picking your favorite child or something like that. It's not that's not fair. But what's been one of the clients that you had that made you grow the most because it was either so hard and the reward was so high, something along those lines that was really a challenge, but it worked out.
Oh my goodness. I would say that every client I take on does that because I only
Okay.
work, I have such like high level of expectation. Like I set for myself, I only work with lovely people and that I continue to grow as a coach by taking on the next kind of level of challenge with a client. So increasingly I'm working with men, which will, mainly it's more 50-50 now. And that's a really interesting challenge and it's fun. It's like it's this the rising to it and going, okay, how can I be I set an intention before every single coaching session that this will be the best coaching session I have ever given and they have ever received from anybody ever. So I'm always looking to be that next level for them.
Do you have a coach now?
Yes.
Okay, good. So it seems like a modern advent. Like there was a time where you never heard about people having coaches. When did this whole thing blow up from what you from your recollection of things? When did this become something that people do more and more?
I think it started in business. I think it was executive coaching. I think the coaching industry is broadened more than anything. I first became aware of it and discovered it in 2007 and was just blown away. It made so much sense to me. Um, it just was it. That was it for me. Just wow, right. This is what we can do with humans. I love humans. This is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you definitely have hope. You know, that's the thing about I've been wondering since we've come out of this pandemic with all of these weird stories and things going on around the globe. Do you have hope for humanity? Do you feel like we're heading
Yeah,
in?
yeah, yeah, hell yeah. Like humans are awesome.
Yeah, I get
You
it.
look there's some really crazy stuff going on, but this is actually the best time in history to be alive. If you look at the actual data on things like live births, children living past age 4, clean water, prosperity in general, um, girls going to school, like all of the measures of poverty, access to clean water, heating, fuel, the world is so much better than it's reflected back to us from media.
Yeah,
And it's a really good time to be alive. And it's our I think what we need to do is control our attention because we're being very distracted by the negative, which is what our minds do. They're supposed to be to keep us safe, but the truth is there's so much goodness and there's so much humans are very, very good at adapting and inventing stuff.
yeah.
And it may look really bad on the news, and then you walk around and what do you see? You just see people getting on with their lives and they're nice, they're polite, they're big-hearted, they'll do anything for you. It's the opposite experience of what's on the screen. So, yeah, of course, humans are amazing. I love people.
I think that's the thing that I feel about podcasting, just the way you said it. I think that there's this level of polarization that the media tries to wind up, or they hone in on one little thing and it turns into a big deal. But at the end of the day, we're all really doing all kinds of great things. I think we're
Yes.
all much more aligned to want the same kinds of things out of our lives. But especially in America, with the way our political system is, there's this polarization they just totally milk, and they made the bleed leads thing the big caveat of their world, and it's really unfortunate, but that's kind of the way the media has been for a long time. That's their whole thing.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. And they've just done it to our country as well. And it's incredibly sad because it's just not true. It's not the truth.
Yeah.
No, I've been into city. I live in the middle of the countryside, but I've been into cities since we had riots last week. Very sad, and it was incredibly friendly and peaceful. And I was slightly concerned about going into a city because you look at the screen and think, oh my God, is it going to be safe?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's all
it's fine.
good. Yeah,
Yeah. So of everything that you've done in your life, what are you the proudest of? What is it that rises to the top for you?
having the courage to be myself and to say, I'm a coach. I'm really good at this. I can help you. Yeah, courage, tenacity.
Let's
Mm.
say you have a dream tonight. You run into the 18-year-old version of you. You can give that young version of you a piece of advice based on the life you've led, the wisdom you've gained along the way. What advice would you impart, and would that version of you listen to it?
I'm considering whether she'd listen. I tell her there's nothing wrong with her. There's just nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with her. There's nothing wrong with anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we get off this call here, time machine pulls up, and you can go anywhere in the history of time and see one event with your own eyes, where are you going?
Oh my goodness. That's that's tough. I'm not good with one thing. Can
No,
I have more?
you've been really good at answering and going. I figured
I
you were just going to
know.
roll
I
with
like it.
this.
I'm quite enjoying this style. It's quite good fun. It's because I don't ever think this is my like committed answers. You could ask me the same tomorrow and I'd give you a wealth of other stuff. When? Oh my goodness. I
See,
don't know.
I come from jazz radio. You just defined it. It's all different. It changes all the time.
It changes
So
all the time. Like there's just like you could just any when something beautiful was happening, just like I wouldn't want to go anywhere anything rubbish was happening. I just want to go, I don't know. I've absolutely no idea. I'm gonna keep that one
that
because I'm that's gonna resonate with me for days. I
good,
love that. That's
good.
fun. I like that.
And then when you find out, you let me know. So
Um,
let me ask you this. Everyone out there has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
who do I think I am? I think I'm loads of things, but pretty much I am the gentle rebel coach. Like gently rebelling is me, very, very much me. And that anybody who gets to hang out with me, and particularly those I'm very close to, they're lucky. I'm 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 funny and I'm deeply loyal. And I have a way of kicking you up the arse to get on with living your life in a way that's very loving.
So the beauty of doing these podcasts is that we get to connect with people from all over the world. And from your specific spot in the UK, what's the greatest thing about where you live? What do you love the most about living where you're at?
What, England or my tiny, tiny hamlet?
Probably both. Yeah.
Probably both. What I love about my tiny hamlet is being an introvert, I get to just mainly hang out with trees, um, and walk my dogs, and it's incredibly silent and beautiful. And that matters to me because I need that. It nourishes me. About my country, I love my country. It's much derided at the moment, but I'm very proud of us as a country. We're incredibly civilized and welcoming of people. We invented some of the most amazing things in the world, including democracy and very important elements that make life worth living. And yeah, and we also are a ridiculously eccentric small island in the middle of the North Atlantic with a vast array of weather and kinds of people. And we had a lot of the kinds of people who were excited about life and got in boats and went and explored the world or invented stuff. And I just think that's really cool and really exciting.
Yeah, I agree. I was actually stuck in London right after 9/11. It's a long story, but I had to make my way there. And everybody was so welcoming and good. And they wanted to know what the whole conflict was about. So I can totally attest to it. I just didn't quite get instant coffee. That was the only thing that I couldn't figure out.
Me neither. Me neither. Yeah, ban it. What's it?
Lots of ham in the morning, not regular bacon like we have in America. There were little things that were different, but overall, and I needed more sunshine. I definitely need to be in a place where the sun beats down. So there's some definite things, but it was so charming. And you realize when you're in Europe, and especially when you're in England, how young America is. I mean,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
we're definitely the teenager, and we're always
Definitely
like,
the teenager. Yeah. And we're like the old thing going, what's going on?
yeah, you're like Churchill in a chair by a fire, just like, what are you doing? What's going on over there?
Yeah,
So
calm down,
yeah,
calm down.
it's gonna be fine. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, chill out.
That's right. So speaking of, if anyone wants to reach out, hire you, learn more about you, any of the good business, where do they go?
Just go to my website, heidimarke.co.uk, or go and check out my podcast, Overwhelm is Optional, because then you get to know me. And if you listen to me and I resonate, reach out. Let's have a Zoom cuppa.
I love it, Heidi. This has been great. Thank you so much. Thank you for your story. It's been great. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's been really fun.
Yes, absolutely.